Hey guys, welcome back. It's Joy Taylor. Thanks for joining me again. Make sure that you subscribe, like, share, and comment. And thanks for watching all my videos. I really appreciate that. In the comments, which we will get to later in just a few minutes. I have a lot of responses for you guys, so I appreciate you leaving those comments. So thank you for subscribing and for commenting and liking and sharing. Appreciate y'all. Let's get started with the Mike Tyson Jake Paul fights on Friday night. So it's on Netflix. If you have Netflix, you can watch it. And we've been talking about this fight for quite some time now. Mike Tyson, 58-year-old Mike Tyson, is going to be fighting Jake Paul. He hasn't fought Mike Tyson a professional bout since 2005. I know that doesn't sound that long ago to someone like me who was in college in 2005, but that was in fact nearly 20 years ago. So I'm aging myself there, but you see the skin. Okay, you see it. You see it. Me and Mike Tyson aging very well, or so we think. We will find out on Friday. Now, there's a lot of pushback on these type of fights from the purist in the fight space. You know, should they even exist? Do we call them boxing matches? You know, do we call it something else, some sort of hybrid? What it is entertainment. It's sports entertainment. They have a built-in audience. They have a way to sell the fight, or in this case, advertise the fight. They have conversation that they generate based off of what people think will happen. And because, for the most part, we have no evidence of anything that we're saying to back this up, it becomes kind of a fantasy conversation. Will Mike Tyson look like old Mike? And for those of you young people who did not have the pleasure of watching Mike Tyson box, if he's anything like old Mike Tyson, Jake Paul is in big trouble. But he's 58 years old and hasn't fought in 20 years. And listen, I get it. You're as good once as you ever were, right? I'm not as good as I once was, but I'm as good once as I ever was. Sounds good in theory. Aaron Rodgers is practicing that right now. We'll get to that in a few minutes. What am I supposed to do with this when we talk about who I think is going to win this fight? I'm going to watch just like everybody else because I'm intrigued. And that is why I defend these fights, because it's entertainment, it's interesting, it's anarchy, all those three things I'm interested in. What it is not is pure boxing. It is not that. And my only issue with the conversation around these fights is that it's not real boxing. It's not real boxing. It's boxing. It's real boxing. They're going to be hitting each other. It's going to be a fight. It's sanctioned. There's going to be trainers there. It's going to be a ring. Everything is going to be to standard. They're going to have the tape on their hands. They've been training. Yeah. But where it stops for me is, and this is really on the Paul side of things, is that it's not a real competition. If you want me to believe that you are a boxer, fight boxers. And he doesn't fight boxers. In fact, the only boxer that he has ever fought is Tommy Fury, and he lost. So that leads me to believe that if you were actually fighting boxers, you were actually boxing other boxers who are your age, who have trained to box, this is their livelihood, this is their sport. They're not 58 years old. They're not a UFC fighter. They're not some random that we don't know. Go fight boxers. And then I will put all the respect on it. I think he can box. I wasn't sure what any of this was going to look like when these things first started. You know, you've got Nate Robinson and Tyron Woodley. Like, what's happening here, right? But I'm going to watch. I'm going to watch for the entertainment. And I'm not knocking that. Everyone should make their money. Make their money, get their deals, keep your brand going. I'm not hating. As long as I'm entertained, I'm cool with that. But what I'm not going to do is put it in the same category as the boxers who are going through the traditional way. Fighting boxers. Fighting guys who are on their level. Fighting guys who are their age, who are in their weight. Like that is what has to happen for me to be fully bought into this as a boxer. So it's great. I love it. I'm here for it. I'm interested. I'm going to watch. I can't wait to see what Mike Tyson looks like. but it's not a real competition. We cannot look at what they have done and put on paper and compare and analyze. We're making it up. We're making it up. We don't know. We can watch Mike Tyson in training. We can watch Jake Paul in training. Sure. But anything anyone is saying is a fantasy. Because when Mike Tyson gets in that ring, he can either look like a 58-year-old who hasn't boxed in 20 years and hasn't won a professional fight since 2003. When I was in high school, he could look like that. Or maybe he taps into what he looked like when I was in high school. And then in that case, it's all downhill from there for Jake Paul. So I don't know what this is going to look like, but I'm going to be interested. So let's move on to Deion Sanders, who is also an amazing salesman. I love my unc. He was on our show this week on Speak, and we asked him about potentially leaving Colorado for the Dallas Cowboys. Mike McCarthy will likely be gone at the end of the season. He's on an expiring contract. Cowboys are on pace for their worst record since 2020. He's likely going to be out of there. He'll finish the season, and then they will fire him and be on the hunt for a new coach. Deion very clearly stated that he is happy where he is in Colorado. He is building things there. He gave us a little tour of his beautiful office and his view of those Colorado mountains. I've been there. It's stunning. So the view from that stadium is just gorgeous. You get fresh air. It's lovely. And while I believe him right now and appreciate Unc for coming on the show, he's the best, I am all for, after this year, Travis Hunter leaves for the draft, Shedeur leaves for the draft, Deion leaves Colorado for the Dallas Cowboys. Now, obviously, I have a lot of thoughts about Jerry Jones and the Dallas Cowboys and how he runs that ship, whether he's about winning or not, whether this is something that can even be turned around with Jerry there. But Coach Prime and Jerry Jones would be the biggest story in sports. It would break our brains how amazing it would be to cover that. Jerry quotes, Deion Sanders quotes, the star. I mean, it's like salivating at the headlines and how fun it would be to cover that. I am for interesting, and that is fucking interesting. And the thing about Jerry is, Jerry has almost to a man hired coaches that he would be the bigger name than, that he can loom over. He's the GM. He's the president. He talks to the reporters. He has a radio show. It's always chaos. It's always about building the brand. It's not really about winning. It's not really about putting your nose down and doing the work. It's always about building the brands at the Cowboys. If you happen to win, that's great. And then in my opinion, that's why they haven't had the postseason success that they have marketed as possibility over these past 30 years. You had a moment with Bill Parcells ever since he let Jimmy Johnson go because Jimmy was getting all the credit. This has been the story. But he can't do that. He can't do that with Coach Prime. He cannot out-advertise him. He cannot outstar him. He can't, because Deion is proving everyone wrong. He has squashed the haters. Everyone had these very high expectations for him last year. Obviously, they started on that run, and then things got a little out of control. We know last year was disappointing. This year, they're 7-2 on the year. They're second in the Big 12. 7 is the most wins for Colorado since 2016. They are 17th in the college football playoff rankings. They have completely turned it around there on the field. Deion knows personnel. He certainly knows recruiting. He would get an amazing free agents there. Everyone would want to play there. It would be the absolute show of the NFL. And I believe he would actually influence on the field and be able to go toe-to-toe with Jerry to move around the things that Jerry messes up, like not having a run game this year or not having anyone to stop the run. Two pretty important things that the Cowboys probably could have used. And obviously the season is lost because of Dak Prescott, but it was lost before that. So I love this idea. I know Unc said he is not interested, but we'll see what happens at the end of the season going into next year. So there's all kinds of shit going on with the Bears and the Colts and this rookie quarterback situation. I know Anthony Richardson is not a rookie quarterback, but a young quarterback. And, should have had CJ Stroud season and Jaden Daniels is an MVP conversation. It's just like, guys, young quarterbacks take time to develop. They take time to develop. And there was a report this week that some of the players in Chicago were wanting them to bench Caleb for Tyson Bagent, I think is their backup. Is that right? The number 1 overall pick, Caleb Williams, it's week 11. We've got to be more fucking serious. Now, they fired their offensive coordinator, which I don't have a problem. I don't think it's going to make any improvement because the guy that's coming in behind him broke Bryce Young last year. So I don't know why that's a better choice, but you got to make some sort of move when this is happening and people are trying to keep their jobs. But it takes time for young quarterbacks to develop. Everyone is not going to look like Jayden Daniels. And while Jayden deserves all the credit for what he's doing, he looks poised. He's been brilliant. He also has a great coaching staff. Not a good coaching staff, a great coaching staff. His head coach has coached in a Super Bowl. His offensive coordinators are Anthony Lynn and Cliff Kingsbury. They work together. He's in a better situation. I talked about this all offseason with these crazy expectations for what Caleb Williams was supposed to be. He is a rookie quarterback. It takes time. If it doesn't take time, that is a massive blessing and an outlier of a situation. You have to be patient. Stop it. They did this all offseason with Caleb Williams and the Bears. He's going to the best situation that a rookie quarterback has ever gone to. Look on paper. Look at the pieces that he's still a rookie quarterback. And if he isn't able to turn around this Chicago Bears organization, which hasn't been good in forever, everyone is going to freak out. And that is exactly what's happening. You can't all of a sudden say he's bad and bench him. Are you guys nuts? Now, listen, obviously they weren't going to do that. But the fact that this is even around the situation, when you have a rookie quarterback, you should know exactly where you are as an organization. When you have a young quarterback, you should know where you are as an organization. If you have a developing project quarterback, you should know where you are. And you have to exhibit patience. And you have to be weary of putting these crazy expectations for wins and postseason success and all of this shit on their shoulders. You made this choice. You have a young quarterback. You've got to ride the waves with them. And the reason I mentioned Anthony Richardson is because he played 13 games in college. What do you think he's going to look like? How poised do you think he's going to be? How much of a professional do you expect him to be? And he got injured last year. The Colts are benching him and looking to Joe Flacco to be their savior. What happens? Joe Flacco is a backup quarterback, a backup quarterback. He was on the couch last year. Since they named him the starter, he's tied for the second most turnovers in the NFL. Stop with these ridiculous expectations. You have a young quarterback. There's going to be ups and downs. These are 22, 23-year-old young men. It takes time. It takes time. This is like chaos, and we're going to bench him, and then we're going to put in this older vet, and he's going to win us some games. This is about your job. This isn't about developing the quarterback. And organizations have to stop doing this. They just must, because both of these guys are in bad situations now. Caleb is likely going to have a whole new staff of coaches and some personnel next year. And Anthony Richardson, who knows? Who knows if he's good or he's not good? But they are clearly impatient with him and his development. It's just nuts to me. So, speaking of being impatient, Aaron Rodgers is saying he's hoping to return to the Jets in 2025. Now, why he's being asked about next season or talking about next season, I don't know, because there's still a whole lot of football left to play. And they're obviously out of it, and it's been a wildly disappointing season. But Aaron is welcome to participate. I just will not be engaging. He should not play next year, and I will not be doing it if he does. I will not be doing this circus. I will not be doing this parade. He's not a starting NFL quarterback anymore. He's 24th in QBR. 6.4 yards per attempt, which would be the worst of his career. It is insane that we continue to do this. There is no shame in walking away. There wouldn't have been any shame in him walking away after the Achilles injury, honestly. I would have been okay with that. That would have been a reasonable choice to me. What he has done in the NFL cannot be taken away. A Super Bowl champion, 4-time league MVP, one of the most spectacular throwers of the ball we've ever seen. Everyone knows the legend of Aaron Rodgers. Sometimes it just doesn't end the way that we want it to. What am I supposed to do with him next year? We still have a lot of football left to play this year, and he looks terrible. Why would I think he's going to be better next year? Why would I think the Jets would be more functional next year? Why would I think that they're going to turn this around? And for what? To make the playoffs? The expectations certainly aren't going to be Super Bowl. No one's going to be that silly anymore. So what is the point of this? I just, if he wants, he should play as long as he wants to play, right? Like, you only get one point in your life to play football. If you want to play as long as you want to. What I don't have to do, though, is participate in the parade. And I will not be doing that. If he comes back, the Jets are bad. They're not a serious contender. They're not a championship contender. They're not a postseason contender. They are a team. That's it. That have a very big name and not a big player at quarterback. My expectations will be as such. So I don't know why we're even getting into next season yet with Aaron, but I'm not going to be participating in that. He would have to be so great next year for me and from the jump for me to participate in that. And I don't see that happening. All right. Love this part. We're going to get to your comments. We love hearing from you guys. So I'm going to run through a couple of our YouTube comments. This one is from Roger Allian 9257. I'm sorry if I butcher these guys. The fact that these games can literally go either way actually makes the Chiefs more exciting. I like that angle. That's a very positive way of looking at these things. You never really know what's going to happen, even though they continue to win. I think this game this weekend will be the one that either validates everything that people have been saying about the Chiefs as of late, or really puts them in the scary category for a lot of people. Because going up against the Bills in Buffalo, everyone takes the Bills seriously. Josh Allen's in the MVP conversation. This is one of those big time matchups. It's a great heat check for both of these teams. And if the Chiefs beat the Bills, no matter what it looks like, I think everyone's going to stop with the Chiefs are lucky thing. And if they lose, then everyone is going to pile on the what's wrong with the Chiefs and could they win it? So this is a perfect weekend. There's so many good games this weekend too. It's like an amazing week. Okay. Eliza Awesome Channel 4917. The Chiefs have it joy. Whatever it is, they have it. Call it culture or coaching. Every time they step on the field, they expect to win. And most of the time they do. Yes, I totally agree. That's what I was saying earlier this week. They are champions. They are great. They have Hall of Famers. They have Patrick Mahomes. They have Andy Reid. They have Travis Kelce. They have Chris Jones. They just have people that know how to win, that have ultimate confidence that they can win. And when things are not going your way and you just believe that as long as you have 13 seconds on the clock and Patrick Mahomes that you're going to win, that's all you need. And that's what those games come down to. Also, most games in the NFL come down to one possession. So yeah, I'm going to take Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs in those type of games. Dakota Rican, Devontae Adams definitely should have been chomping at the bit to play for the Steelers. I would have loved Devontae and the Steelers. I would have loved Devontae to come to the Steelers, but he was clearly recruited by Aaron Rodgers. Why he chose the Jets, I don't know what he was thinking. I mean, he was thinking he was going to play with his friend that he's had a lot of success with. I mean, that's what he was thinking. I personally would not have picked friendship over potential success. I mean, the Jets sold everyone but me. I mean, everyone has bought into this Jets Kool-Aid at some point. It looks fancy. It's Aaron Rodgers. It's New York. They have some pieces. I mean, when Robert Saleh was let go, that should have been the sign right there that this was a disaster. People always pitch themselves on the interim coach is going to turn everything around. So he should have gone to the Steelers. I mean, look at the moves that were made. Amari Cooper to the Bills, D-Hop to the Chiefs, Mike Williams to the Steelers. Like, these guys are going great places and have opportunities to go and compete. And Devontae Adams is now stuck in the same situation he was in with the Raiders. Also, actual, it's time to let A-Rod go to pasture. It's a wrap. Agreed. I mean, I don't like to say go to pasture because it sounds so negative. It's just like, it's time to walk away. You've had an incredible career that everyone respects. Everyone knows who you were and what you've done. And yeah, this is the end of the road. This is a physical young man's sport. Only morale. Justin Fields had this same coach last year and you blame Justin Fields for the losses. Now with Caleb Williams, it's the coach's fault, not Caleb's. Not keep the same energy that you had for Justin Fields. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't a good situation. Justin Fields was not good in that situation. No. I think I've made it very clear that Justin Fields has really impressed me this year with the Steelers, and it's very obvious that the situation with the Bears was more than just Justin Fields. By the way, Justin Fields is healthy and is not starting for the Steelers. Russell Wilson is. So I don't know what the energy is. Justin Fields is a good quarterback, but he's still limited, and that's what I've always felt about him. Caleb is a rookie also, and Justin Fields was in year 3 last year. So there's no comparison. Justin Fields' struggles were in part because Justin Fields is not a complete quarterback, which is why he's not starting for the Steelers right now, and also because the Bears organization cannot get it together. So it's twofold. And I don't think Caleb Williams is a bad quarterback, and I think he needs more developing. Brandon Ben 4691, my favorite sports reporter, very knowledgeable. Thank you. Appreciate you, Brandon. And Gifted Tib, I love when you embrace your team and go full homer. We let a ride. Yes, well, we's are going to slip out every now and then. That's just what happens. That's what happens. By the way, I love this shirt. It's Steel City basketball. I don't know if you guys can see. I'm going to fall, trying to show you. Steel City basketball. Love the shirt. Anyway, thank you guys. Thank you for joining me. Make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe. As you just heard, we love to get to your comments, so we really appreciate you. We will catch you next week. Enjoy all the games this weekend and the fights, and let me know what you think in the comments. Bye, guys.